For President Biden's final curtain call for his encore, he announced at the end of last week that the United States economy created 227,000 new jobs in November. A huge accomplishment. President Biden posted, "Since I took office, the economy has created more than 16 million jobs." Get this, with jobs being created every single month. President Biden also posted, "Over the last 4 years, we've had the lowest average unemployment of any administration in 50 years. This has been a hard-fought recovery, but we are making progress for working families." With everything that's gone on, with the way the media's treated President Biden, with everything, he's still posting those messages and celebrating that the American economy is actually working for American workers as a result of his policy. Now, you wouldn't know this from watching the media coverage over the past 4 years, although the media coverage seems to have all of a sudden changed, where now they're recognizing that the economy actually was doing well. Remember headlines like this from Bloomberg? This was, and President Biden had to call them out. So 2-3 years ago, this was the headline from Bloomberg. Forecast for U.S. recession within a year hits 100%. Bloomberg Economics sees near certainty downturn will start. Tightening conditions, inflation, hawkish Fed weigh on outlook. It was dated October 17th, 2022. That was the headline by Bloomberg. And Bloomberg and CNBC and others continued to report as though we were in a recession. The reporting actually would have made you think that we were in a depression. And by the way, Bloomberg continued with headlines like that, like this headline. Even after a recession did not hit, it didn't stop Bloomberg from saying things like this: "Why a U.S. recession is still likely and coming soon. The government is staying open for now." Remember when the MAGA Republicans and Donald Trump were trying to shut the government down? But Bloomberg Economics sees risks ahead, from strikes to higher rates and oil prices. So while all the economic indicators were actually showing that through the Inflation Reduction Act, through the CHIPS Act, through the PACT Act, through the America Recovery Plan, through all of Biden's initiatives, had put the country in the Infrastructure Act had put the country in the right direction. The press were still focusing on the hypothetical depression, the hypothetical recession, versus just reporting on the facts. And that led Donald Trump to say things like, "The economy's crashing. This crime is skyrocketing," when crime was down because the way the media was reporting it. "This is a scary vision. A depression is going to hit." Let's just take a look at the facts. Let's pull this up. This is what happened when President Biden was in office. Strongest economy in the world, strongest GDP growth of any G7 nation. Nearly 16 million new jobs, a record. Wages up. Inflation came down. Racial wealth gap, the lowest in 20 years. Historic infrastructure investments, lower prescription drug costs. Record health insurance coverage, most significant climate law ever, first major gun safety law in 30 years, first black woman on the Supreme Court, help for 1 million veterans exposed to toxins, violent crime rate at 50-year low, border crossings lower than when Trump left office. The White House account posted this: "Small businesses are the heart of our economy, and our administration is proud to have overseen a small business boom, with 20 million new business applications filed since President Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris took office." Just take a look at this chart right here. This is the third to last Biden jobs report from November 2024. The economy added 227,000 jobs in November. Wages up 4% over the past year, outpacing inflation. 36th straight month of low sub 4.5% unemployment. That's 4.2%. And just take a look at the job growth, Democrats versus Republicans right there. I have a better chart to show you as well that shows the difference between the job growth. This is what former President Bill Clinton talked about at the Democratic National Convention. Here's what it is. There have been 52 million jobs created since 1989. Of the 52 million jobs created, 50 million of those jobs have been created under Democratic presidents, basically all of them. And President Biden, when he posted this graph, it was less jobs created than it is now. It's like 16.1 million jobs now. But just take a look at the jobs created by president, average per month. Just take a look at this. Biden by far creating the most jobs. Donald Trump by far creating the least jobs. Only president other than Herbert Hoover to lose jobs while in office. And that other stat is just wild, right? 50 million of the 52 million jobs created under Democratic administrations. So then how is it, though, that that's not how it's being reported? Well, corporate media is owned by corporations who would rather have tax breaks or them benefit than the overall economy benefit. That's one reason. You have, this photo right here of kind of the North Korean propagandist over there. It's like Fox. I mean, you take a look here at what Fox is saying today. The economy is doing great. These are record job numbers. Now that they can say that, their business programs report the correct facts. But leading up to the election, it was always doom and gloom. We're in a recession. We're in a depression. America's doing horrible. Remember that? This is what they put up on Friday. Let me just show you this. Play the clip.
Are looking at a market that has completely changed direction on this report. The Dow Industrial is now up 19 points. Earlier, we showed you the markets were lower going into the number. Obviously, this is better than expected, and it is good news is good news. And that's how it's playing out on Wall Street. Dow Industrial's up 30 points. The NASDAQ up 39. S&P up 6.5. Alfredo Ortiz, your reaction?
Well, Maria, I'm not surprised. I mean, ding dong, the witch is dead. Small business owners are cheering, and they are starting to hire again. Our new national small business poll that ran just after the election is showing that their confidence is at a record high, really, and that jump is at a record high. 40% actually expect to hire in the next 12 months. 3 out of 4 of our small business owners polled actually expect to have a very profitable year next year. And so they're excited. They're excited to usher in a brand new administration that believes in lower taxes, getting rid of red tape, and coming back to domestic energy dominance, which has been a major issue, obviously, during the Biden administration on inflation.
Yeah, it's going to be good to have a businessman back at the wheel, isn't it, Andy Poster?
That's right.
It's going to be great. Some of this reflects, I think, the optimism that people had going into the election.
Here are some comments we received to the post we made on MeidasTouch. Deborah Sorensen says, but the economy, the price of eggs, and the hellhole that America is, my gosh, what is happening? Oh, yeah, Trump is going to save us. Keep this to post when the economy tanks under Trump. You can't buy eggs because of H5N1, and no one has a job. Old people are on the streets because no Social Security, and people are dying because the Affordable Care Act has been taken away from them. Here's another comment that we got. Find the GOP administration that did not cause a flourishing economy to go into recession. Deregulation and reducing taxes on wealth and income cause our economy to flare brightly before consuming itself into a recession. Economists always blame a black swan event, but it is predictable. Here's another one. America got suckered by a con man. Trump and his cronies will overreach because they just won't be able to help themselves. And America, even the gullible and ignorant who voted for him, will get pissed. Biden will be more and more appreciated as time goes on. Another comment. I just don't understand why the media has disparaged Biden so much. There's a couple of things he voted on as a senator that didn't make me a fan, but he won me over with his last 4 years of service. And I just don't get why he was so unpopular. He's done more for America than Trump ever did, by far. Here's another one. It's a shame the economy is so horrible under the Biden administration. I mentioned that to someone who was dining at this very upscale restaurant that was completely packed in the middle of the week, along with the dozens of other restaurants that are packed every night in suburban Pennsylvania that ultimately voted for Donald Trump. And then what do the big corporations want to do? They want to get a bailout after they tank the economy. Look, we the people have to understand the game. We have to understand precisely what's going on, and we have to call it out each and every day. But you see President Biden there with one of his last great gestures, creating more jobs, increasing wages, handing over a very stable, thriving American economy. Thank you, President Biden. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 4 million subscribers together.
Love this video? Make sure you stay up to date on the latest breaking news and all things Midas by signing up to the MeidasTouch newsletter at MeidasTouch.com/newsletter.